Okay, well, let's hope that today that somehow picture-in-picture actually works. I was amazed as I drove down the road at 12 noon today to hear on the radio news that the Queen's husband, Prince Philip, has died. It's one of those things you just expect people like that to go on forever. And at 99, another 2 months it'd have been 100, so there we go. So, we've got an Intek here. It's a, what? M550 power. Does that mean it does 4 watts instead of 3? And I hope that echo button doesn't do anything. What a horrible thing to put in. So I can't power it up yet because I haven't got a power connector. Perhaps we can bodge it into the crocodile clips. We'll have a look. I only have a standard mic for this, a standard replacement mic, not the factory mic that would have come with it. I've never seen one of these before, as far as I remember. I do have the service manual, but I couldn't be bothered to print out all 67 pages and bind it, so I've just made some notes here, and I'm sure that will suffice. The printed circuit board design says 2006 on it, so we can't be expecting it. It's been labelled by markers not working. So we can't be expecting it to do AM and FM on UK because it's before 2014 when that all came in for UK users. So let's have a look. I didn't say I could get the thing open. Oh, the miserable what's this? They've not got it on a plug. Okay, so it's got a decent sized speaker, which is more than you can say for current models. I think you can just about buy these new, but they'd be new old stock. And there are 1 or 2 adjustments. So it's a bit of a mixture between surface mount components and conventional leaded components. Not sure that I like the blob of solder just there. Imagine that rattling around in the speaker. I will just say I didn't put it there. Please sir, it wasn't me. So we can't obviously see anything blown up on it. I'm not sure whether we've got a power lead for these. I think they're on order. So lots of things on order which have been on order for months. Now I was doing a business radio this morning, so we had the bigger power supply in use, so I'll now change my thingies over to the smaller 2.5 amp power supply, which has got digital meters on it. The bigger power supply has analog meters on, and it's not easy to see exactly where you are with the 13.8, and then you've got to start messing about with another meter. Let's see whether we can do it that way. Well, that's interesting. It just went into transmit for a moment, so something's happened. Right, so I'm going to select picture in picture, and it is showing on my monitor. I better select channel 20. Oh, does that mean it's in some? Oh yeah, there we are. There's normal. Roger bleep activated. I'm hoping that's an option. It looks like it is. Okay, let's see what it does. Well, it does just more than 3 watts. It does it at 3.1. So it is transmitting, and that's always a good sign. So we'll plug our test instrument in. There must be something up with it, otherwise Mark wouldn't have labelled it as not working. Let's look for a bit of deviation. Wallow, 1, 2, wallow. It's got about 1.5 kilohertz deviation there. So we'll look at receive. Make sure we're in some sensible mic gain to full, RF gain to full, squelch to minimum. And we've got some receive. And 0.78 microvolts for 12 decibel cyanide. So it looks like it works. So not sure what the snag was, because if it was working to this extent, I'd have expected Mark to have labelled in yellow, as in trade working is what that means. It means it needs alignment, but it's on the face of it working. Right, well, we'll start and see if it's on frequency. So we'll just select frequency counter 2779125. So as ever, it's going to want pulling up a little bit. Overshot it a bit. It's alright to leave it there. I mean, it was alright where it was. Just want it to be a little bit higher than 2779125. There we go, 26.7, that's fine. Okay, so we'll go through the transmit. So first of all, we'll set the power for full, and the power is RV1, says the service manual. And RV1 will be somewhere where I can't find it. It's that one. Oh, it is at full. I'm glad it's called a power set. Transmit 301. So 301, 302, and then 303 when we can find that. Well, that's what the book said anyway. .301, .302. You don't think it's had Mr. Coil Stretcher in it, do you? .302. Just that these are all weird looking. we've got a brand new one of these in the box. If I can't spot what's happening here. Yeah, I think we'll have to come back to that because it's it needs to be doing a bit more than that. Right, so we'll look at deviation. Go back to camera position 1. There we go. Wow, still wants a bit more. Wallow. That's it. So we're on frequency. We've got, what it does have is an RF meter on this model, which is unusual. I mean, yes, it's 16 years old, 14 years old. RV4 is the TX meter, and that's there. So it should say 3 watts because that's what it's doing. We'll probably have to come back to this when we get the power up. That's weird. It's the lowest it goes. Likes to think positive, this radio. Just make sure it doesn't do AM when in the switching it to AM goes to CPT. That's how it should be. Yep. There's a connector there which looks like that's going to be where the echo option, which we don't want, fits. So we'll look at receive, and we'll go over to the oscilloscope for a start. Switch off the bench light so that people can see the oscilloscope screen a bit better. So it's hunt the detector coil. Could be that, it could be that. Let's go for that. So I'm going to put S9 signal on the signal generator, which is 100 microvolts. No, it's not that. It's that. So just do that again. That's maximum. Okay, bench light back on. Over to the synod meter. We'll drop the signal till we've got about 4 decibels. Tell you what, it's sensitive. So on receive, we're looking at L3. Remember, I'm optimizing this for UK channels. There's no interest whatsoever in the European set of channels. So, 3, 4. I prefer it to work really well on the UK channels, even if that meant not at all on the other ones. 102. Let's drop the attenuator. That's 102. About to use the wrong tool. M4. Go back to that one. Could be AM detector. And let's see what that's brought us down to with the sensitivity. We're now at 0.38 microvolts, which is very acceptable. So we'll go back to putting S9 on the signal generator, 100 microvolts, and we'll adjust the S meter. And where do my notes say that? RV5. RV5 is there. And that wants to be spot on the 9. It's a bit generous as it was. And 201 is AM mod if we get on to doing that. That's it. VCO is there. It's R406 and R418 is the test point. Probably that, and it's supposed to be somewhere around about 1 volt. I'm not going to adjust anything because there's no reason to fiddle with it, but just see whether that's the kind of thing we're getting. I've got 2.99 on this channel. I'm sure I'm about right there. Right, I'll put that meter away. So I'll get the Zetagi meter out to see whether our lack of watts is because of spurious emissions or just lack of power in general. Yeah, it's lack of power in general. It's just about it's 2.5 watts, isn't it, on that? Yeah. Well, I think the best thing to do is to open up our brand new one in a box, and we'll see if there's an instruction book in there in which... Pause the video. So it is a MultiNorm radio, as we kind of expected. And so we'll have to go into this to do the AM side of things. Turn off the radio. Press and press the echo key and then turn on. The current frequency band will blink. Now select the desired frequency band from the knob and then press the echo key. So I think we're going to need it to do something which is going to do AM and FM. Spain 01. There we go. I'll go to the top of the shop for that. So now AM, FM. So we'll do that modulation. Go back to picture in picture. And go back to there. So out of interest, what's the... Oh, here we go. So 27405, and the radio now does 2 watts. Now it's on AM, and we need to go to AM on the modulation meter and tune it in. Wallow. And as you can see, we're getting 90% mod there. So we should just, what was it? Did I say 201? Yes, it is. It's 201. And 201 is that one. Wallow. Well, that's 90%, so that's that done. Now we need to set the signal generator for the same frequency, 27405 AM, and then we can just make sure we've got that receive spot on. There we go, 27405 AM. And plug the speaker back in. So now we're going to tune it up for maximum recovered audio, which I think is going to be the coil just there. So we'll go to the oscilloscope. So we look at, you see, it goes nasty there. I wonder if this can be done with this sign underneath meter to make it easy for me. Really? Better with a solid signal. Yep, I think we're there. Okay, so I've now flicked over to go on change. I've now gone over to FM, and we may as well set the squelch while I'm on the European channels. So save me setting the signal generator again for UK channels. So I'm going to set the squelch to full on the radio. There we go. And we'll now go to 100 microvolts, and it comes in exactly how I want it to. We don't need to check, we don't need to adjust the squelch. Oh, it's hovering on the edge here. I think we do need to adjust the squelch. Oh, what a horrible squelch which does that. V2. V2. So that's made it stronger, so it's now not coming in. So I'll go back to 100 microvolts again. Unfortunately, I need it to be on at that point. Well, that seems to have set it right. Okay, so we'll go to the other end, turn the signal generator to standby, set the squelch threshold, switch the signal generator back on. It's come straight in, which is great. and it leaves us at, let's make sure which one we're on, comes in at 0.25 microvolts and leaves at 0.2 microvolts. Very sensitive squelch, but a horribly clicky squelch when it does activate. So that's crystal filtered as standard. So we've done AM, we've done FM. We just really need to get to the bottom of why the power is lower than we would expect. I looked for one on the shelf and I can't see one, but what does that mean? I don't know what it means. Right, so I've kind of improved all the coils how I expect them to be, and we've now got 4 watts, and that's channel 20. If we go to channel 40, 3.9 watts. Go to channel 1, 4 watts. But if we go to EU, 4.1 watts. If we go to channel 20, EU, it's 4.3 watts. And if we go down to channel 1, we'll have the DTI after us, 4.4 watts. So that's the best compromise I can do with it doing 3.9 watts on channel 40 UK. I've balanced these as best I can, and that's the best compromise we can get. Otherwise the set was doing like 2.5 watts as it was presented here. So that's now set up. I'm going to put the spectrum analyzer on because obviously those have all been messed with, and Mr. Coil Stretch has been in it and actually turned it down. The problem was that the reason it was doing 2.5, 3 watts is these coils have been messed with. So we'll get the spectrum analyzer on and I'll just see whether it's clean enough to be acceptable. I'll make sure we're on UK channels as well. And go to channel 20. So we've done the AM, we've done the FM. Just going to retreading our steps with the power, sorted it out, and let's go over to that. So I'll key up and press auto and let's hope it captures it. No, not good. It's picked up on 303 megs. Okay, so I'll put 27.79 megs in. Having said that, my probe's in the wrong place. These are just loose coupled. So there's our fundamentals, 27.79, and I now want to look at second harmonic. So we'll go frequency 55 megs. Should be able to find that. There's our second harmonic, and it's actually minus 58 dBm. So we are actually in spec. Right, so that works all right, and it does have a real meter. We'll now just be able to set that properly, because before, when it was not only 2.5 watts, it wasn't really much of a properly set up arrangement. So we'll key it up. It's banging right across, so we can now reduce that. And just to remind myself with the notes, and RV4 is TX meter. RV4. You can tell these have been screwdrivered. Oh, good. Anyway, I'm glad we've straightened that out. But I don't know where our new one is. Unless this is our new one. I really don't know. I've got an empty box for it. So whatever this is, it came in a box. Trouble is, we've been in this lockdown on and off for 9 months, haven't we? And I've forgotten where we are with all kinds of things. We've soldered this on. I'm just going to check we've got positive negative right. Not that it matters, but I'll check. Switches power off. So is it the green wire? Yes. Out of interest, I'll just touch it on the yellow wire. It'd be bizarre if that went beep as well. No, there we go. Well, I'm going to look back at my video, but I've got a sneaking suspicion this was the other way around. Going to redo this end. It's a bit nasty. Turn that off now. Now a bit less nasty. Alright, so we've got it on the aerial, we'll put it back together. One and a Roger. Just one of these sets giving us, despite correct calibration, it's giving us S7 all the time. So let's unplug the aerial again. Yeah, it drops to 0. Well, that's pretty close. Yeah, well, we'll leave that on channel 31 ready for our little test later on. Now, I don't like the way that meter is, I have to say. Let's go with the CPT. I'm not going to give ground chances. It's worse as residual, more racket. We normally have it under 3, but I'm not going to misalign the meter just so it sits there resting. It does have the power, and it's just that it had been screwdrivered and the coil stretcher had been in it, and drop the power down to 2 point something watts at full chat. Okay, thank you for watching.